Hello YouTubers and Facebookers, or I should say YouTubers and big shavers. Paul here. I am back from yet another hunting trip. This time I was back in Ogallala, Nebraska goose hunting, and wasn't able to put up any videos for the last week. Although we were staying with some friends, the internet access was fairly slow, so I didn't make any videos, and I didn't have my video set up anyway. So today I'm going to use some new products that I got. For starters, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Godrej Menthol Mist cream. This was kindly sent to me by Michael Friedberg. He sent me the menthol mist, Godrej cream, and the fresh lime. In addition, he also sent me some Wilkinson Sword blades from India to try. I don't think he's tried these yet, so nor have I. So this will be a experiment to see if how these work. And I'm also going to be using a new brush that I got. This is the new Forrest High Mountain brush. I had read about these in the Leisure Guy, Gourmet Guide to Shaving book, and I had seen some posts that Moises had put up where he had one of these brushes, the tubby version, so these are very high quality Badger brushes at reasonable prices. The fellow that makes these is active on many of the shaving forums and had a shaving brush blog, and has experimented with a lot of different shaving brushes and whatnot, and has now started his own business of making shaving brushes, and he's making high quality brushes at a very reasonable prices. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a try today as well. I'm going to be using my Tradere razor today, and it's loaded with the Wilkinson Sword blade. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the cream. I've already applied a pre-shave to my face. I've used the Perazzo today, and I'll say over the last week I have been shaving daily since we're staying with some friends. Obviously, we're staying at a residence where we have access to hot running water and whatnot, although I did not bring any pre-shave products. And I'll have to say, although my shaves were decent, I think that using the Perazzo or one of the pre-shave oils, I've got a little bit smoother shave normally than I was getting while I was away. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and face this Godrej cream. I have used some of this, not the menthol one before, but the other one. It has a real kind of clean menthol smell. A little bit different scent though than the, almost has kind of a minty menthol smell, rather than straight menthol like some of the other products like Perazzo and Ingram's and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and start lathering. This is the first time I use this brush, so no idea how it's gonna work. So I'll just go ahead and. So this is a completely every product I'm using to shave. I've never used them before, so I have no idea what the performance of this is going to be like. So the brush. It feels very, very soft. It actually, for a silver tip Badger brush, has really pretty good backbone, and it feels like it's actually quite dense. So go ahead and get this going, and I'm just going to apply some more water. Always more water. So as this cream's going on, as I'm lathering it feels kind of thick, and so I'm going to just keep on adding water to this until I get the consistency that I desire. And while I'm doing this, I'm working the cream into my whiskers, and both hydrating and softening the whiskers, and getting them ready for to be cut off with a nice, hopefully sharp blade. So I'm just basically dribbling water onto the brush as I go. I've got hot water in a little cup sitting next to me, and that I had the brush soaking in, and I just am going to keep adding water drop by drop, working it into the lather until I've got the consistency that I like. Yeah, this cream has a nice clean scent, and I definitely feel the menthol tingle. This has a nice menthol tingle to it, which I really enjoy. I think the other Godrej cream that I used was sent to me by was the original one, and that was sent to me by Dustin Gully, and I really enjoyed that. That cream really lathered really nicely, so I was really excited to receive these creams from Michael, and I just want to thank him for his generosity in sending me these products to use and to have a little stock of them. I was really tickled when I got them. So just maybe a little bit more water and it should be just about ready to go. So today I'm just going to do three full passes and a fourth against the green pass on my neck, and we'll see what kind of shave we get, and hopefully this blade is gonna work for me. So it's interesting on the packaging. It says Gillette Wilkinson Sword. Said the cross sword device are a registered trademark of the Gillette Company, USA. So I don't know. I guess I was always under the impression that Gillette and Wilkinson Sword were kind of competing companies, but it looks like maybe Gillette bought out Wilkinson Sword or something of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and empty out my scuttle here, and I'm just going to refill the inner part with hot water to keep my brush warm. And we'll go ahead and get going here. So while I was away, for my traveling razor, I used I was using the slant bar razor, the Merkur Slant. And I was using that with a Super Iridium blade, and I also had a Sputnik blade that was sent to me by Jeff from the Big Shave, and both of those blades really work pretty good. For me, the Super Iridium, these are the Pulse Silver Super Iridium, the newer ones that have come out recently, are real smooth, but I just don't feel like I can get that my shave is as close as it is if I were to use a Vashcott or one of the Rapira blades or something of that nature. So that's the first pass. I'll go ahead and just wet my face a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and apply another lathering. here we go. So for my second pass, I'm just going to go against the grain in a downward across the grain motion. And it looks like I got a little nick there on my Adam's apple. Just wasn't paying attention there when I was. So I will usually just use a little styptic on these. And I like kind of like the Prazzo styptic gel, but I don't see it sitting out here. I might still have that packed away. So just apply that there. That's usually the place I'm going to get a nick if I'm going to get one. So go ahead and apply a little more water. See if we have enough lather here in the brush for a third pass. I may need to add a little more to this. It looks like that's going to be the case. I'm going to apply a little bit of the cream to the brush and just add a little water to it. And we'll go ahead and just lather this up. So I always find that, you know, sometimes when I'm using a cream that I'm not familiar with and haven't used, it takes a little while to kind of figure out how much I need and how much water it's going to take to get a decent lather with it. All of them are a little bit different. You know, some are easier to lather, they require less water. Some require a little more water, a little more work. At least early on for me, there's always a period of experimentation to sort of figure out what the needs of the cream or soap are, and what it's going to take to get to a point where the lather is what I really like. So I would say in general, this particular cream seems to lather pretty easily. As I've noted before, I do have really hard water here where I live. It's well water. We're on a well, so it's got a really high mineral content, and that sometimes can create a little problem with lathering different soaps and creams. I found that for me, generally, I'll need a little bit more product than probably a lot of people would have soft water, and also it usually takes a little more water than normal to kind of get a good lather. So, all right. There we go. This is across the grain in an upward motion. So I would have to say, so far with this Wilkinson Sword blade, seems to be pretty smooth. No tugginess at all with this blade on its maiden voyage here. Okay. Now for the last pass, I'm just going to go against the grain on my neck. I kind of always like to do that when I'm trying a new blade for the first time, because for me that's kind of like, going to tell me if the blade is really going to be a good blade for me or not. If I get tuggy on my neck, then I know it may not. That's probably not going to be. It's not going to surpass one of my favorites. And if it's nice and smooth on the neck, then I can put it right up there with my other favorites. So. Okay. Alrighty. So I would say that blade actually feels really good going across the grain. It feels like it's just slicing right through the whiskers. There's not the slightest bit of tugginess to this at all. And I don't really know where Michael obtained these blades from, if he got them from the market, the Indian market where he got the creams, or if this is something that someone had sent him, or he had picked up along the line somewhere. But these seem to be actually a pretty nice blade, for me anyways. And all right. The only other Indian blades I tried were the Gillette 7 o'clock blacks, which I think are a pretty good blade, and they work pretty good for me in most razors, although I've had a little bit of problems with them in the R41. I've had good and bad shaves with them in the R41. With most of my vintage Gillette razors, they seem to perform pretty well, and with my other open comb razors, they seem to perform pretty well. So they just seem to be, for whatever reason, in that particular razor, a little bit finicky. So the new Forrest brush, I think, really for the first time out, performed quite well. The brush is really, really soft, and it's actually got a really nice backbone to it. For me, this has got, nearly the backbone of I would say, equal backbone to a two-band finest brush, and but maybe even a bit more softness. Really, I'd have to say my initial impression with this brush is a very high quality brush at a really reasonable price. Next, for my aftershave, I was in, like I said, I was goose hunting back in Nebraska, and I happened to be hunting in a town called Ogallala, which is where my hunting partner is from. And as I'm sure anybody that knows is in the wet shaving world has heard of the Ogallala Bay Rum, and that's the fellow that makes this, comes from that town. So although they don't have a brick and mortar store in town, there's a couple of little shops in town that sell this. So I did pick some of their products up. I got the sample pack, and I got this I was able to smell them, and I actually like this one the best. This is the Limes and Peppercorn Bay Rum. So I'm going to go ahead and use that today. I really like the smell of this one. I have the sandalwood one, and I didn't really particularly care for the scent of that one. But this one really smelled good, and the other one that I really liked was the cedarwood and sage. And unfortunately, they did not have a bottle of the cedarwood and sage, but I did get some of that in the sample pack. So this has a nice bay rum smell to it, but it's you can definitely get this citrus smell out of it, the lime kind of aroma out of it, and it feels really good on the face. It actually has a little bit of a cooling effect, which I think is probably due to the alcohol in it, but it feels really good. And I'm going to go ahead and just apply a little of the Keihll's facial fuel moisturizer to my face. And all in all, there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Michael, for sending me the Godrej cream and those blades. I have to say, in my opinion, those blades are pretty good. So if that's something you can get locally, you might want to pick up a pack or two and give them a try. It seemed to work pretty well for me. I'm pretty happy with it, and you know, maybe they'll be good for you as well. So all you guys out there, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.